Hi, everyone, and welcome to our special simulcast, Neil Haley Show, Your Beautiful Day on the Gratitude Radio Network. And we have an unbelievable show today. Again, I can't believe it's August 1st. We're really finally going to be through that summer. But I first want to welcome the program, Jen Mogg. Jen, how are you? And you're excited about our guest, aren't you?
Hey, Neil. And I want to thank everyone for listening. We so appreciate you listening to the Gratitude Radio Network in Your Beautiful Day. I am thrilled as a mother, as an entrepreneur, seeing young people flourish. And on today's show, we've got that for you. We have Alina Morse. She is the INC Fortune 5000 CEO. She is the founder of Zolly Candy. And before we introduce her and before we get started and you fall in love with her story and her candy and how she's changing the world, I want to introduce you to someone that's also changing the world. And that is my co-host, Pearl Sharenza.
Hey, everybody. So excited. This is like I think today's show is going to be so much fun because as the owner of Women's Successful Living, one of the parts that we're doing is really reaching out to the young girls in the country across the world. So I'm excited that this amazing host you're going to introduce as well. And I'm excited to be the co-host. So Jen, take it away.
Hey, thanks. Thank you. So as I said, we have such an inspirational story today for you, something that not only can you carry home, but you can go to the store and pick up her candy that is helping with cavities. And this is Alina Morse. Alina, welcome to Your Beautiful Day.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Wow, yeah, it's fantastic you're here, and I'm blown away. For our audience, tell how old you are. I mean, that's the amazing part of this whole story is your age, because again, you present yourself so well off camera, and we're talking to you and you feel like that you're 10 to 12 years older than you really are. So go ahead and tell our audience that.
Yeah, so I'm 15 years old, but I started my company, Zolly Candy, when I was 7, on a trip to the bank with my dad. You know, the bank teller offers you a lollipop, and my dad always told me, you know, you shouldn't have candy. Sugar is terrible for your teeth. So I asked him, well, why can't we make a healthy lollipop that's good for my teeth so I could have candy and it wouldn't be bad for me? Then after about 2 years of research and plant trials, Zolly Pops were born. We started selling when I was 9 years old, and we've been selling for 4 years strong. And I'm proud to say, you know, I'm one of the youngest entrepreneurs in America.
That's fabulous. And Jen, I'm blown away. Again, this is exactly the kind of story that we need to have in this, especially in this tough time, to know somebody who really just came up with a great idea and then there you go and ran with it.
Well, I think one of the coolest things is that she shares my daughter's name. So let me start there. Okay, I'm a huge fan already. And the second thing is that she's pursuing. I mean, you're pursuing exactly what you're supposed to be doing at such a young age. Take us back from the bank to when you got home.
Yeah, so, you know, I had this kind of basic idea. Some would say, you know, candy that cleans your teeth, candy that's good for you. I'm sure every kid's thought about that. You know, I can have candy without my parents saying no. But I was a very tenacious kid. I'm still very tenacious. And so I kept asking, you know, when are we going to make these lollipops? When are we going to make these lollipops? How can we do this? And eventually my dad said, you know, if you want to make something happen, write it down. So I wrote down a plan in my idea binder. And, you know, I wrote out what I thought was a business plan, what was really just a picture. And then I got to research. I looked on Google, YouTube. I watched videos on how, you know, lollipops were made. Until, you know, finally writing out some sort of an ingredient list, replacing, you know, the sugary ingredients of a lollipop with healthy alternatives. And then, you know, looking for a manufacturing facility, looking for a place that we could make these Zolly Pops. And so after, you know, finding that manufacturing facility that fit our needs, because, you know, we wanted to be very particular. We wanted to make sure that this was a very inclusive product. You know, we're free of the top 7 allergens. nut-free, gluten-free, non-GMO, kosher, vegan, and keto as well. So, you know, we really check all the boxes, making sure that anyone with any kind of, you know, food allergy, or, you know, if they're diabetic, you know, they can enjoy this product too. They can enjoy something that is good for their smile, but also tastes good. And so, you know, after creating the 6 Zollipop flavors that we have today, we took it to our first retailer, which was Whole Foods, a region of Whole Foods stores in California. And, you know, if you want to make a progressive product, the first place you want to try and sell it, California. They're accepting to new ideas. So, you know, they loved our idea, they loved the product, and they said, we would love to bring you into our stores. So after that first region of stores, we really took off. We got into Amazon.com, we got into Kroger stores, Walmart, Target, CVS, and Walgreens, and, you know, iHerb.com. So we really skyrocketed in growth, and just, you know, overall, more people knowing about the company, more people able to keep smiling and, you know, adhere to their you know, food and or, you know, health challenges, but they can still have something that'll keep them smiling, that tastes great, especially for kids, because, you know, kids don't love brushing their teeth, but they do love lollipops. And lollipops that clean your teeth is a win-win for everyone.
I think that is so amazing. I love your enthusiasm listening to you share this story and how you got started. And you're right, California is the place to go with a lot of stuff these days. So what I think is really cool is, like, you took that vision. I wrote down idea binder. You know, as a empowerment coach, and I work with women and young women, I'm always talking about write things down, you know, get it written down, come up with a plan, manifest it. So in your idea binder, you started there. What other things have you been adding to your idea binder, and who gave you the thought to come up with an idea binder? Is that just something you did, or something your parents showed with you, or how did you come up with that thought of an idea binder?
Yeah, so from the beginning, my parents have said, you know, if you want to make something happen, write it down. And, you know, just like you said, it's important to write things down, because really, if it's tangible and visible, it makes it feel more realistic than just an idea in your mind. And so it originally was just a piece of paper. And then, you know, when I started coming up with more business ideas, when I was, you know, 3 or 4, I took all of my business ideas and my business plans, my business pictures, and I put them all in just your average 3-ring binder. And that was my idea binder. So nothing fancy, not a lot of thought into it, but, you know, it just ended up being that vessel for all of my entrepreneurial ideas.
So I've got a question to add on top of that. So I know there's other candies coming out, but what other ideas do you have that maybe are outside of candy that's in that idea binder?
Well, I can show you.
Ah.
So this is the idea binder with my drawing. And I have lots of product ideas. I had peanut butter and jelly in a jar, which I was heartbroken when I found that was already a thing. It was definitely a frustrating time for me. But one of my other great ideas that I still have hopes for is robot dads. So they're basic. When I was younger, my dad traveled a lot for work, and, you know, was going on a lot of business trips. And I was like, you know, why can't I create a robot that goes to work for you so you can stay home? And I thought, you know, this could work for any parent. You know, it has customizable features, make it look like your dad or your mom. then, you know, you just send that to work so that your parents can stay home and hang out with you. And I still think it's an
I love the
ingenious
idea.
idea.
I'm investing. I'm
I was-
investing. I would like to be two places at once.
I
See,
love that.
that's what I'd say. I
So
could go ahead-
Alina, I got somebody I want to hook you up with. That's my son is going to school at Florida Polytech, and those are some of the things that they're forward thinking of.
Yeah.
So I would love to put you two together. They have the 3D printer, the original 3D printer company comes in once a month and works. I'm going to connect you because that is an amazing. I'm like you too, Neil. My kids are grown, but if I could be even now two places one time, I'm in, Alina. So let's get some investments going. I'm excited. That is so cool. I love the thought of the idea binder. I just think, you know, you're forward thinking, writing things down. And I'm hoping that those are some of the things. I know you're still in school, but I would love to see you out there speaking about those kind of things. That's just awesome.
Thank you.
So, you know, when you think about projects, and I can see you're a creative person, starting that early. When I coach people in business or coach them in social media or branding, or just talk to my clients in general on their mission and vision, I always look at, they have so many ideas, but then to implement them. How do you keep yourself in that way with the product and continue to look at expansion with not overextending yourself?
Well, really, this Zali candy was the first idea that really felt possible. And even, you know, it was a far out idea, but it still, you know, was something that I was really excited about. And it felt like kind of the first thing that, you know, I could really do. And that I was going to put the time in, I was going to put the effort in. And a lot of times when people think, you know, CEO, they think, oh, well, this person does it all. You know, they, you know, they're in every aspect of the company all the time. And that's just not the reality of it. Even myself, you know, being a first-time CEO without, you know, going to business school or even getting into high school, I was kind of nervous because, you know, you think CEO with that big title, you have to do it all. But when it came down to actually building the team and delegating, that was a really important lesson that I, you know, found was really interesting for me personally, but then also so comforting that I had all these people around me that were so supportive and so passionate and so good at their jobs that, you know, they do their thing, so I can, you know, work on other, you know, other parts of the company, and so, you know, I didn't feel like I had to do it all.
And that's a great point, that when you put yourself as a title of CEO, you better not do everything or you're not the CEO. Because ultimately you have to have a team of people to have that success. And as an entrepreneur, I've struggled with that for 15 years to look at how do I finally scale things. And it seemed like from the beginning, you looked at each and every step involved to do that, which I'm impressed, meaning that you didn't, and I could see you could be a controller, especially that early coming up with the product idea, that you are willing to delegate and put the right people in charge. And that's good.
Yeah, and it, you know, also being a young entrepreneur and, you know, like I said, not going to business school or, I mean, I was doing 5th grade math. So I couldn't be in the accounting position. I couldn't be in the, you know, sales and social media marketing position because I didn't even have a phone. Like all of these other aspects of the company that I was just not equipped for, was things I needed to consider that, you know, I really can't, you know, do everything. And I think that it was easier for me to delegate because I knew that I needed the help.
That's a great point. Now, Jen, And when you run different things, that's what you always look for, right, Janice? A team in development, and especially she's an actor and a singer. You always have a team around you, right, Janice? It's not just you trying to do everything.
You try to do as much as you can. Delegating, I think, is the greatest success in the world if you're able to do it. It's hard as you get older to have your hands off of it. Yeah. And also seeing how your team pans out. Some people that you bring on, you may think they're powerhouses and they're not. So it's just life lessons that we keep learning. I wanted to ask you, because this has been on my mind since I started looking into Zolly Candy. What makes Zolly Candy clean your teeth?
Yes, so the magic teeth cleaning ingredients are a pretty different part of Zolly Candy. It really sets us apart from any other candy in general, but especially sugar-free candy, because other sugar-free candy isn't, hate to say it, it's not fun. It's not family friendly. But Zolly Candy has even more health benefits than a normal sugar-free candy, but it's also, it still tastes great. It's still fun. Like, does this look sugar-free? No. This doesn't look sugar-free.
No.
This is like
a party.
Fun, party explosion, unicorn candy. And that's what kids think when they look at it. They have no idea that this is going to clean their teeth, and their parents are tricking them into doing something that's good for them. But Zolly Candy has a very interesting way of cleaning your teeth. So because we started with Zolly Pops, lollipops stay in your mouth for quite a long time. So it gives the ingredients, our magic teeth cleaning ingredients, xylitol and erythritol, mostly erythritol, it gives them time to raise the pH in your mouth, neutralize the acid. So it takes the acid from any food you ate. Even bottled water has acid in it. So it brings the acidity level in your mouth to a normal level, and that remineralizes your teeth. So when there's a lot of acid in your mouth, really after you eat anything, it allows your tooth enamel to become very soft, susceptible to the bacteria that causes cavities, because that bacteria grows in a acidic environment. But with Zolly Candy, when it's lowering that acidic environment, that acid level, it's remineralizing your teeth and getting rid of the bacteria that causes cavities and tooth decay. So there's actually a really cool way to test it that you can do at home. Amazon and a bunch of other places sell little pH test strips, and you test your pH before you eat a Zolly Pop, usually after you eat, any meal, because that's when your acid levels will be the highest. And then you have a Zolly Pop, or you have some Zaffy Taffy, or you have the brand new Zolly caramels that you can find in CVS. And you take your pH again after you have Zolly Candy, and it should be significantly lower. So it's a really cool way to show, in your own home, at-home experiment, especially for kids. That's a super fun at-home school science experiment, because, you're going to be at home learning. You can still do some fun science. And you can see, Zolly Candy actively working in your mouth.
Yeah. It reminds me of Bill Nye, the Science Guy.
I wish
Alina Morse, the science girl.
Yes, better. Somebody needs to take the gauntlet.
I wish that would have been around when my kids were doing science projects. I have boys. I had to do volcanoes and all this crazy stuff.
I've done my fair share of volcanoes.
But going back, I love the whole recognizing that you need a team. That's really awesome. I think that's a huge lesson learned at such a young age. And then I want to ask you. So you talk about the experience at home. Have you done a video experience to show that yourself?
Yeah, I'm sure you can find them on our YouTube, Zolly Candy at YouTube.
Awesome.
And we're constantly creating content to show the benefits of Zolly Candy, promotions at different stores. You can even go to zollycandy.com and get a coupon for Zolly Candy. And you can check out Zolly Candy's Instagram, which is just instagram.com/ZollyCandy, and my personal Instagram as well, instagram.com/Alina with 2 R's, star with 2 R's. And, I'm constantly creating content to show the benefits of Zolly Candy, where you can pick it up today, and even get a shout out on our pages.
That's awesome. And my other question I have is, how many dentists have you gotten to carry this in their practices?
Because hundreds. Dentists love our product.
That's awesome.
I talked to my dentist and my dental hygienist very early in the process of creating Zolly Candy. I asked them for some guidance on what ingredients they thought, would be good in a candy that would clean your teeth. I figured I'd go to the experts, and they, steered me in the direction of erythritol and xylitol. So they were very helpful, and we advertise to dentists. We have a special dentist program on our website. You can check it out, zollycandy.com. And that's a special, way for dentists to get bulk product to set on their counter, to give out to patients. And we also have, so many other, ways for schools and, businesses to get Zolly Candy for their customers.
Now, once you had your product in place and all the different things, I'm always interested in the entrepreneur mind. Did you bring in investors for your product, or did you just go fully funded based on your family and stuff, not going outside sources?
So we had a round of friends and family investment, people that we thought would be, good strategic partners that have been following the Zolly story from the beginning. And that was always, something that was important to me, finding not only investors, but business partners, people that could mentor me in the right direction, and overall be more than just a credit card. And I think that that's important when you're, a small company, growing. You want to find all of the connections that you can, and just build your Rolodex of people you can go to if you need anything. So, we did some investment, but really, basically all of our company is just reinvesting back into the business. And then we give 10% of our profits to support oral health education in schools. And then we also have our separate nonprofit, which is fueled by Zolly Candy. So it is, it's separate 501c3, but the product from Zolly Candy that, in the nonprofit we give away to schools, that all is, donated from the company.
Okay. I was just wondering, you just seem like a perfect person to end up being on Shark Tank. Just the way you present yourself and everything. I'm shocked you weren't on Shark Tank. Just the studying and all that. Yeah.
Well, I was.
Oh, that's what. See, I didn't see that in the bio. So there you go. I can tell you're.
Well, so the episode never aired. I went, I filmed, and then they didn't air it. So that's okay. It was a lot of years ago. It was, I was young, and it was a good experience to learn, to see kind of into the show, into the world of kind of how all of that comes together in the end. From a filming to the airing of the show. Unfortunately, ours never got aired, but that's okay.
Really?
I was also on a show called Elevator Pitch, and that was you're in an elevator, you give your pitch, and then they say up or down, and I got up. And so that was a really cool experience, just to be on those shows, even when there isn't, an investment or a deal. It's just still such a great experience. And I feel, the more that you practice your pitch, the more experience you have speaking in front of people, it makes you a better entrepreneur, makes you, a better person in general, I think.
So
when you were on Shark Tank, did they make a deal with you after or before or during?
So I can't actually disclose what happened on the show because it never aired, but everything that happens for a reason, and like I said, we haven't had any outside investment other than friends and family. So
Yes, and that's the interesting thing about behind the scenes, because I've interviewed a lot of people that have been on Shark Tank and also one of the sharks. So I understand exactly the system. It's a show. It's just like any other reality show, and then sometimes things don't work as they plan, and there you go. But I think you are more of a brand that I could see your own show at one point for young investors. I see different types of things that your story could be more. You probably have something in the works, but COVID hit, right?
yeah, well, you never know. I think, wouldn't it be cool if I was in a shark position one day?
I totally agree with you.
You make the rules, making the rules, judging, all that.
Yeah.
I'd probably be too nice and just say, okay, I like you. You
You
seem
won't be
nice.
a
Let's
25
make a deal.
tonight when you're owning like three companies, right? And investing in all these things. I could just see
And I
that.
can't stop investing. I keep seeing this young talent. I'm like, you're great. You're so nice. Let's make a deal.
So Alina, I want to talk to you. You mentioned your charities. So tell us a little bit more about that and about both of them and how they came about.
Yeah, so our nonprofit, the Million Smiles Initiative, was started from the very beginning of Zolly Candy. So we started the company, and then we started the Million Smiles Initiative inside the company. So it wasn't, a nonprofit yet. And originally we gave 100,000 lollipops that year to schools that signed up on our website, zollycandy.com, under the Million Smiles tab. They got free Zolly Candy for their whole school, along with, information to work, a lesson plan to talk about Zolly Candy in the curriculum, because there's a lot of different ways you can bring it in. You can talk about it through a chemistry aspect, with the pH test. You could do, talking about entrepreneurship. You can talk about, candy. Have it be a classroom incentive. So there's a lot of different ways that the program really, reached the kids. And then the next year we had increased to 250,000 smiles. That's 250,000 lollipops. Then 500,000, then 1 million. And last year we did 2 million. We increased to 2 million. And we are on track very soon, bringing up to 4 million. And so, now it's a separate nonprofit. And, it's just something that I always wanted to do alongside Zolly Candy. I didn't want it to just be, the company. I wanted some other aspect where we could give back. And, especially when you're at school, you're learning about everything else, science, math, reading. Why don't you learn about taking care of your smile? So I figured, what a better place to get kids to listen up and say, hey, this is good for you, but it still tastes good. You can still have, sugary tasting candy, but it doesn't have to rot your teeth. So.
Exactly. How has this changed your life? I mean, now you're looking at 4 million in sales since you've started.
Yeah, so last year we did 6 million at retail, $6 million at retail. And despite the COVID crisis, we have continued to grow. We've continued to, thrive as a company, and, we haven't had to fire all of our employees or shut down our factory. So, I would say after what has happened in the economy, we're very thankful to be still standing as a mid-sized company. And it's amazing to still see growth. So it's definitely has changed my life in a lot of different ways. It's given me a different outlook, I guess, working in the adult world, or the real world, as everyone calls it. And it's definitely made me more mature, and also, changed my thought process on certain things, thinking about the importance of different, events. I've started to think about, or have had to start making choices. You can't do everything, so you have to make the most of what you're doing, but also, look at the big picture and say, is this meeting gonna help me in the long run, or is going to this party gonna help me in the long run? So it's just, those Hannah Montana life choices is what I like to say. Living the best of both worlds.
Because you got to find the balance and enjoy where you are now and appreciate the now, and the world will have you. You're gonna graduate school and go off to college, and finding the balance has got to be a little bit challenging sometimes, because you do need to go to those parties and hand out your lollipops and candy. And I love the fact you're doing caramel. That's my favorite candy in the whole world.
Well, you can pick them up at CVS today. So
I'm going to.
So speaking of school, I have a question. So you are a freshman, I think, is that right, or sophomore? And so my question.
Yeah, I'm going into my sophomore year.
Sophomore year. So how have you been received at school and your classmates, and how has that gone?
Well, it's definitely been different than I would say a normal kid's, school life, because it is a juggle between extracurricular activities as well as Zolly Candy and, regular schoolwork. But a lot of the people that I've grown up going to school with have known about Zolly Candy from the beginning, so it wasn't always that big of a deal. Until for high school, I moved schools. So I moved school districts, and it was like all new people, and they would follow me on Instagram. They'd be like, "Why are you verified? Like, what is going on?" And so it was definitely a new experience, because I was so used to everyone just kind of knowing about it. It wasn't a big deal. It's like, oh yeah, okay, whatever. Like, you're gonna be out of town, all right. But I definitely was called Zolly Pop for a majority of the year this year, but it's all right. It's okay. I mean, at least I'm being acknowledged as something other than a freshman. So
I understand.
Wow, it's in that, and then just that process of what you've learned, and your rise is kind of like some actors rise when they, or pop music or wherever, and they're still going to school and have to deal with all those things. But going to college, it'll be interesting to see what kind of college you're interested in and looking at, especially with how the business will keep you busy. So
yeah, and it's not like I'm like a pop star, actor, music artist, and people are like, oh yeah, like I know you. People are like, oh yeah, you're the girl that makes lollipops.
Well, I think you never know. Next time you might get discovered the next thing and say, hey, we want a reality show with you. Would you do a reality show?
No, not a reality show. I think that's all looking for drama, and we're just a feel-good story. Like,
okay, what about a story on
family-owned.
what about like a CNBC, where they would highlight you and do like a kind of like series business, kind of like The Profit or something like that? That's what I see.
Sure, yeah, totally. Without the, I'm just not into the whole, faking scripts and editing to make it look like I said something that was not what I said. So
no, I see you on that, like The Profit, or like something like that, and as something that ends up on that programming of business.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think shows about business can be so inspirational. And so, just entertaining and cool to watch somebody's story kind of unfold. So, something like that would be really interesting. I'm not interested in being on Keeping Up with the Kardashians or anything like that.
No. You don't need to do that. I wouldn't see that, but I ultimately would see a business type show like all those on CNBC that would definitely be a fit for you. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Are you pitching that right now? Is that what we're doing? We're pitching her.
No, see, I'm pitching that idea of my production.
Let's do it. I'm the executive producer.
No, see, I'll get on the phone tomorrow and talk to NBC. But I'm just saying. But no, I mean, seriously, I see that as a great show. Then you get it, right? You end up on the same lineup with the Shark Tank, and your show comes on after that. That would be, there you go.
You've inverted that.
Be a good deal, wouldn't it?
So I have my other question is, so TV's one thing, but come on, to do a TED Talk, like that's on my bucket list, is to do a TED Talk. How cool is that?
Yeah, no, I would say that was probably top 5 nerve-wracking experiences of my life. I'm not a nervous person when it comes to, being on camera, being on stage. I'm a competition dancer. So I go up there, I do my thing. It's the same thing with being on camera, live TV, I'm all good. But when it came to the TED Talk, I was very nervous. It was just a whole different ball game, it felt like. And it was at a Masonic temple here in Detroit. So it was super cool to do it in my hometown. But if you've been to a Masonic temple, they're huge and very intimidating, kind of scary, like haunted house, kind of like you turn around one corner and you think somebody's going to grab you and pull you into the shadows. But it definitely was a really, really cool experience to even like tour around the place and see, wow, like I'm going to be speaking here. And then to be talking in front of, thousands of people, it was exciting, but also, I wanted to make sure I stick to my time limit because the clock is ticking down in front of me. And I'm entering and exiting on a scooter, so I have to make sure there's no malfunctions, to make sure my microphone doesn't fall off, and I do it all under 8 minutes. So it was probably one of the coolest experiences of my life. I'll never forget it. And I hope I can do another one. I mean, I think that would be really cool. Maybe I'll be less nervous second time around.
I can't see you being nervous the first time around just because you've got such great confidence. I love you on a scooter. Jen will tell you, the first time we met, I was doing a speaking engagement. I actually came out in my PJs. So, so I love that was your creativity, and it just goes to show that your success.
So new projects going on right now. You talked about your new product. What else do you have to tell that's coming up for you?
Well, we have, obviously, our new products, but also, we just want to continue to grow. And, we're still recovering after, some bumps in the road this year, but we're, going steady into our next seasons. If you can see up here, we have our Halloween Zaffy Taffy bag. So we're looking forward to at least doing some kind of some Halloween events. And it's a little bit far out, but really with business, you have to look, 12 months ahead if you even want to get your seasonal items into the stores. So we're excited about the seasons up and coming. And really just kind of enjoying summer. There's not travel or anything where I'd be really busy, usually because, I don't have school, I don't have anything to work around, so I can just kind of do whatever. Back to school is such a exciting time for our product. I know this year's going to be a little bit different, but Zolly Candy is still, an amazing treat for, kids to use as an incentive for online school. You do your school today and you'll get a lollipop, but parents don't have to feel bad about giving their kids candy when it's Zolly Candy and it's good for them. So it's definitely going to be different this school year, but we can still make it fun and still find ways to enjoy something even if it's just candy. So.
There we go. All right. Now, Jen has what question you have next?
My last question is, do you have, like, you've had so many incredible moments and you've done so much in your life with Zolly taking off and going straight up. Do you have one gratitude moment that stands out? This whole thing seems like a huge gratitude moment. But
yeah, I mean, really everything leading up to this point in time has been kind of a dream come true. With obviously, you know, all of the bumps in the road and every challenge and everything like that has been a struggle, but definitely it's all been so exciting every step of the way. I would say a big moment for me was definitely being on the cover of Entrepreneur magazine. I was the youngest person ever to be featured on the cover, and the whole experience was like, am I dreaming? I'd always, you know, I've always loved, you know, the idea of, you know, being in kind of like the Hollywood scene. And I wasn't even in Hollywood, I was in New York, but the whole photo shoot and everything, I was like, what? Like, this is like a movie. And getting to work with such amazing set designers, photographers, makeup artists, and, you know, everything in between, to see such a great cover come out and, you know, have such a big magazine and a big influential company in the business world be talking about, you know, young entrepreneurs. It was just really exciting.
So, I have a two-part question. So I love that you started this so young, and one of the things that I do, we talked about before the show, is I work with women, but I also work with a lot of young girls, and empowering them to, you know, like what you've done, find a vision, write out what you want. Don't wait till college. Kind of start, you know, what is it that if you could do anything in the world you wanted to, and you had that money to do right now, like what is that? So for the young girls that are listening, because, you know, I'm going to definitely be sharing this with my young girls, what would you say to those that have that dream, not sure where to start, and maybe they don't have quite the confidence to like go for it? What kind of advice could you give to them?
Yeah, so I would say my best business advice would definitely be, you know, ask questions. Even when you're, you know, an adult, keep asking questions. It's super important to keep, you know, being curious and wanting to learn. I would also say, you know, something that my parents have always told me is work hard, try, believe, and never give up. That's kind of the key thing to, you know, in the back of your mind, just, you know, work hard, try, believe, and never give up. And, you know, like we were talking about earlier, find a team, because business is like any other sport. It's a team sport. So you want to find your team, and that's, you know, really the key.
And I think that says a lot for life too. Like, even if you weren't having a business, like find your team, find those people that are going to uplift you,
Yes.
be there, you know, when you're struggling and all that. And my second part of that question, I'm going to hand it off to Neil, is do you do speaking? Like, do you go out and speak on like what your success has been and your, you know, what you've been sharing with us today?
Yeah, definitely. So I recently spoke at the OLP Architects of Change event. And OLP is a girls' private school in San Diego, California. And it's a Maria Shriver event. So, you know, it was started and the event was founded by her. And so it was such an amazing event to go and see all of these amazing, you know, high schoolers and all these girls that are in this place, and they're learning, and they're taught to become great leaders. And I just thought, you know, if there are more schools like this, if there are more places like this where, you know, girls can go and just, you know, spend all of their, you know, go to school there, like that is where they learn all of their, you know, basic skills, but then also they're getting this extra aspect of, you know, they have to learn how to public speak. They learn how to, you know, their mannerisms are so, you know, polite and friendly and, you know, welcoming, and they're just taught to be these amazing leaders. And it was a great place to speak. It was a great it was great to meet all of the amazing girls that, you know, I'm still in contact with, which is so cool to speak to other young people, that you feel like there's a lot of mutual respect. So that was really cool. And I've spoken at a lot of places, including the National Principals Leadership Institute in New York City. It's the convention of all, you know, all of the nationally, all the principals that are, you know, very high up in their jobs. It's people from all over. And it was interesting to give my take on you know, being a student, and how they can incorporate, you know, entrepreneurship and how to help their students thrive. So that was a really cool experience as well.
Wow. All right. So I'm going to hand it over to Jen to finish the show, but I appreciate you stopping by, and I'm amazed. But I tell you, I'm waiting to hear when you have your own show. It's going to happen. I have a good feeling about it. I'm shocked you don't have a podcast too. That would be another thing I would see for you, especially in the field of talking about young people and entrepreneurship, for sure.
Yeah, and when you do, Alina, you can plug it right here at the Gratitude Radio Network, and we'll do whatever we can for you.
Thank you so much.
On that, on podcasting or anything that you would like to do, I am here for you as the mother of gratitude. So, but we've been listening to Alina Morse, who is the youngest Fortune 5000, INC 5000 TED Talk, has her own candy. The amazing story of her going with her parents to the bank and coming back with an idea that's changing the world one lollipop at a time to become healthier. So I'm really happy about that. Hey.
Hi. All right. So Jen, was that not like, what a fun young girl, right?
Zollywood.
Zollywood. That was so much fun. What a sweetheart, and so so genuinely appreciative of what she's achieved. So excited to share. And then her wisdom of, you know, yeah, she was in 5th grade. She knew she's just learning math in 5th grade, and I know part of that probably was guidance from her parents, but she knew it's like, I tell my son all the time, my youngest one, he's like an old soul. He can see in and know what he needs. Like, she had that before life that said, this is what she's going to do and this is what she needs.
That's what I asked her before the show, for anybody that's listening. I asked her if she remembered anything from her previous life, because when she was born, you know, she came into this world with such vision. She had to remember something coming into this. And I would say one of the biggest secrets of her success is her family structure. For them to come home and her to go off on this story of I'm making candy that's going to help people with their teeth, and that's going to be a healthier form of candy, from just going to the bank and getting one of those lollipops. I've done that a million times with my girls, and they never said, hey, let's make this into a lollipop.
Yeah.
For her to have that vision of helping other children, of helping other people, and it has expanded. She's just a wealth of information. She's so sweet and so kind, and definitely a gratitude goddess. You know, she's a little gratitude.
Yeah, definitely.
Gratitude in the making.
She reminds me of somebody local here to Tampa that, you know, at a young age, even, you know, Alina doing these lollipop things and recognizing that I need to give back to my community. I mean, so many times our kids, they don't understand that these days, that
right.
It's great to receive, but we also need to give back. We need to pour into others. And there's a young girl here in Tampa. She is very much involved with the Shriners, and she was born with brittle bone disease. And so one of the things that she did as she came through everything, and the story of what her parents went through to you know, the trauma they went through to show that they weren't harming their daughter. But what she's done is she turned it into, over the years as she was growing up, she would have an annual birthday party for herself. But instead of it being for her, it turned into this gigantic fundraiser for Shriners Hospital, and she raised thousands of dollars with local DJs supporting her and things like that. And she recognized too at a young age, I need to give back. So I think it's amazing that Alina is recognizing that, and that she's also doing that forward thinking about how can I continue to, develop this product that I want to develop and other ideas that she's got in her idea book binder, and then also still continue to pour back into her community, and not just locally there, but she's doing it nationally, which is amazing.
I wouldn't be surprised in about 2 years if she's international everywhere selling her candy.
Well, actually, I think
Walmart, yes, the list is long, and you just don't go on a TED Talk and come back the same. When you go through a TED Talk, you are just majorly pushing through. Just a lot is going to come out from her. So
she's
I'm really thankful.
Candy is internationally. She didn't talk about that, but some of her candy is in international markets too. So yeah, she's got a lot of great things ahead of her. So
she is, and I'm thankful that we had her on our show today, and I'm thankful that you all have listened in with Pearl and I. Again, we were speaking with Alina Morse, with Neil, and I'm just very thankful for all of our listeners, for everyone from the Gratitude Radio Network, and Pearl and your pearls of wisdom.
So today I want to leave all of you to think about the person that has touched your life that maybe you haven't spoken to in a while, and just reach out, pick up your phone, and just say hi. Because with everything that's happening with, the COVID and just life in general, we all get so busy so fast. We forget to check on that girlfriend that's, she's in the back of your mind. You keep saying, I want to call her, I need to call her. Today I'm going to give you the challenge and tell you, call her and encourage her to continue to find her inner pearl of greatness.
I love it. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being with us. I'm Jennifer Hall, the Mother of Gratitude, with Pearl Sharenza.
With Women Successful Living.
On the Gratitude Radio Network. And remember, you are blessed, you are loved, and you are sacred. Mwah. Have a beautiful day.